My next guest makes her UFC debut coming up here February 19th. Gina Mazany joins me here on the program for the very first time. Gina, how's it going?
So far, so good, man. Life's good right now.
I'd imagine. And congratulations on the UFC deal. Obviously, a huge moment for you in your career. Where were you when you found out the news that you'd be signed to the UFC?
I was actually, so I live in Vegas. I was actually out with one of my friends. I was in town. And I've always wanted beef Wellington. And I was like, and we're like, oh, let's go get a beef Wellington. And went out to Gordon Ramsay's like nice dinner. And my friend, got it for me and whatever. And we're sitting there, finished dinner, like I was all stuffed. And then I get a call from Misha. And she goes, hey, can you make 135 in 3 weeks? And I was like, for UFC, I can. Hell yeah. And so that day, and I was super, super stoked, very surprised. And then after I got that call, I went home, went to bed, got up in the morning, started running. But yeah, I was like out and, having a good time. And then I was like, shoot, got to get on it. But yeah, I was eating steak, man.
Good stuff. No, that's excellent. I always like hearing, kind of how the contract and all that came together. But I think most people would remember you from season 18 of The Ultimate Fighter. But going even before that, how did you get involved in combat sports?
So initially I used to figure skate for about 6 or 7 years, and I was skating, and one of my main coaches, she moved, and so I had to go to this other coach, and this other coach was like super adamant about like my weight and like how I needed to lose weight. And mind you, I was like walking around like 140. I was very like I looked great, but she was like, you need to be skinnier, you can't have so many muscles and all this kind of stuff. And then my brother started doing jiu-jitsu, and I was like, I'm going to give this a shot. And so I went to jiu-jitsu, and it just had, like having two older brothers and having like wrestling instinct. I was like, dude, this is fun. Like wrestling around and stuff. And so I honestly stopped figure skating, and I started going to jiu-jitsu, and was just obsessed with it. And then I started boxing for just cardio, and then I started sparring, and I was like, man, like getting punched in the face isn't that bad. And then I started doing like amateur boxing fights. And then it was all downhill from there in the best way.
Fantastic. And I know you grew up in Alaska too. So, I mean, it's kind of neat that, you ended up, growing up in Alaska. Now you're in Vegas. Now you're signed to the UFC. I was looking at your record here, and I saw that in your second pro fight, you actually fought up in Canada for a promotion called Fight Club. Reason I mention it is because I'm from Canada. What was it like competing in Canada in just your second pro fight?
I absolutely loved it. Like, honestly, I have never in my life met, my brother also fights, Dave, the Pain Train Mazany. He also fights. He's fought in Canada a few times. And I have never met, like, better fans than in Canada. They're all so gung-ho and so supportive of the mixed martial arts sport. It's amazing. So when I found out this fight was in Canada, I was super stoked about it. But yeah, fighting in Edmonton, it was amazing. Like, people were so great, so nice, even though I was, obviously the underdog because I was an American. They were so cool about it. It was awesome. Yeah. They're super sweet about it.
And how did that get hooked up? Was that through your brother, or how did you end up fighting there?
I'm not sure. I don't really remember. I think it was through my brother, because my brother had a fight there too. Me and my brother, one of my other teammates, all fought on the same card. And they had a girl for me, and I was like, okay, like, I fought for free, because they were like, well, if you want to fight, it'll still be pro, but you have to pay for it. I'm like, okay, I just want to fight. Like, yeah, okay, I forgot about that. Yeah, so I just went there and, paid my way to get up there just to fight, but it was cool. It was good. Canada's amazing.
I like to hear that, because, we like to be very welcoming up here in the Great White North, so I'm glad you had a good time. But let's talk about season 18 of The Ultimate Fighter. How was that experience overall for you? Some people, they either love TUF or they hated it. What was your experience?
I loved it. I think it's a great opportunity for people to get themselves out there, get their name, get, flaunt a little bit of personality and looks and whatever the hell you want. I drew a bad card by getting Juliana. She's a tough chick, and she's been killing it in the UFC, which I'm so proud of her. She's such a sweet girl, and Definitely deserves it. Such a hard worker. So, I mean, but that sucked. But overall, I remember when I was like, my brother called me and he was like, "Hey, you should come to Vegas. They're doing interviews or doing the TUF 18 or whatever." And I'm like, okay. I just landed like a really good job in Seattle, making like good money, like super adult job. And I found a cheap ticket and I was like, oh, I'll just see what happens, you know. And then I kept making it to the next stage, and I made it to the next stage, and I made it to the next stage, and I was like, dude, Dave, I think I'm actually gonna this is gonna happen. And it happened, but it was cool. Everyone was super nice. I feel like I made a lot of connections and friends from the TUF 18 cast. Like even though I lost to get in the house, like I still have connections through all the girls, and I thought it was an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, who do you still keep in touch with? I always ask fighters that because I know you usually make some lifelong friendships going through an experience like that.
Juliana Pena. We text every once in a while, and Raquel Pennington, and actually Ashley Evans Smith, Jessamine Duke, who else? Just like, I don't know, it's cool because, I met Paige Van Zant there. I met her at the tryouts. She was dating one of my friends at the time, and I met her, and I actually saw her like 3 or 4 years later, and I was like, I don't know if she'll remember. I saw her at the MMA Awards, and she's all like super popular now. I was like, hey Gina, like super nice, super sweet. So, but yeah, it was a really cool experience to like meet everybody. So yeah, I made some good connections with people.
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit more about your career here. I saw you fought last year against Katie Halley at AFC 124, but before that, you hadn't fought since 2013, and obviously on the show as well. Why was there a bit of a layoff there?
First of all, it is so hard to find fights, and that's one thing, like, controversy I've been having, like via social media. People are like, oh, well, you're fighting out of your league and this and that. I'm not 4-0 because I want to be, because I just want to fight 4 times. Like, that is not the case. Fights fall through. It's hard to find fights. It is, if you're a competitive fighting athlete, you understand what I'm talking about. So, and then when I was in Seattle after the TUF thing, my shoulder was really unstable. I would literally wake up in the middle of the night and my shoulder would be out of socket. And so I finally had to get shoulder, so I had to get my labrum repaired. So after that, I got my labrum repaired, and I quit my adult job and sold all my stuff and packed up my Ford Focus with my dog and cat and moved to Vegas because I was like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So kind of dumped everything else out. But, mainly why I haven't fought is because it's hard to get fights. I've said I said no to maybe one fight in the past like 2-3 years. And it was because a girl had 26 fights and it was a weight class. And I was like, that's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make smart decisions. You can't just take whatever, it's got to be logical, right? So good on you for, making that decision, because who knows, it could have, hurt your career. So it obviously didn't here because you got signed to the UFC. And, we talked a bit about it off the top. By the sounds of it, this was a bit of a surprise to you to get signed, was it? Or was this something that was in the works?
It was, Misha mentioned it to me. She's like, hey, I'm looking about managing fighters, and I'm really interested in managing you, because we were previous training partners, and and I obviously, like, the end goal is to fight for the UFC. That is like that's what you want. But honestly, yeah, it was a surprise. It's like one of those things where, as cheesy as it sounds, but dreams do come true, and it's literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. And it's one of those things where I'd always like to think that this is what's going to happen. This is what I'm working towards. But never in my life did I ever say, when I fight in the UFC, like, for me, it's an honor and to have even this opportunity to fight for the UFC, because it's mind blowing to me, really. Not saying I don't think I deserve it, or do I think that I know I belong there, but the fact of having this kind of opportunity is just amazing. It's amazing.
Absolutely. No, I totally get what you're saying, and I'm not going to edit this up or anything and like, oh, she says she's not ready. No, I totally get where you're coming from on this. One of the other cool tidbits about you signing is that you're from Alaska, and there aren't a lot of fighters to make it to the UFC from Alaska. Just off the top of my head, Lauren Murphy, Cody McKenzie fought in the UFC. I don't know exactly what the number is, but you're on a small list of fighters from Alaska that have made it to the UFC. What does that mean to you?
That's cool, man. I love it. I think that we're obviously like we're a tough breed, and we're born and raised to fight for something. It's growing up, my parents have always been like fighters in the sense of like hunting and fishing and all that fun stuff, and like working their ass off. And sorry, I don't know if I can say ass. Working their butt off to take care of our family and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, it's amazing. It's a tight-knit community, and I love to represent Alaska because it's just everyone there is so supportive. Even though I haven't lived there in over 10 years, I'm still getting like so much love from Alaska, and that's so amazing to me.
That's very cool.
Super.
I like hearing that. I think that's awesome. And obviously that's, giving you a nice boost going into this debut. And, it's never an easy go in the UFC. Your first fight is going to be against Sara McMann, who fought, Ronda Rousey for the title. She's very well known, obviously her Olympic background and everything. How do you feel like you match up against her? Obviously McMann, a decorated wrestler.
Yeah. It's funny, like when I first found out I was going to fight Sara McMann, I was like, holy cow, like that's crazy. Her only losses are to people who have obtained the belt. Misha, Ronda, and Amanda Nunes. Those were 3 losses. And, but like I said, I think it'll be a good fight. I definitely don't think that I'm just going to get smashed, and I definitely don't think she's just going to smash me. I'm not putting anything down on her game, because I'm a legit fan of actually Sara McMann. Fun fact. But I'm just confident in what I've been doing and what I've been training at Xtreme Couture. Like, we have a lot of great wrestlers here. I think it'll be a good fight. I think definitely it'll be one. It's going to be a show for sure. And yeah, I don't know. I want to see what's happening. I'm excited to see what happens, honestly.
Good stuff. You mentioned Xtreme Couture there. Who are some of the people helping you get ready for this fight?
Obviously, my coach is Dennis Davis, Nate Pettit, my brother, Dave Mazany. So my training partners, Misha's came in and helped me out a bit. She fought her, so that was great. Gustavo Lopez, just, we got, some, I don't know their last names, Corey, some our AN guys, like, really, like, good I've been working with a lot of good wrestlers, honestly, just working on, defensive wrestling, and, turn, I actually like wrestling. I actually like to wrestle, so you never know what's going to happen.
Excellent. How's the weight cut going? I know this was short notice, so I imagine going pretty hard on the chicken and broccoli.
Oh, no chicken for me. It's all white fish. It sucks.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
No, it's one of those things that's it's not ideal and it's not great, but those are the cards I was dealt, and I'm going to make do with it, Cutting weight in any fight situation is never great. I've never had a fight cut where I was like, I feel great, It always comes up.
No one comes in and says, I love cutting weight, so.
Yeah, this is so much fun. Like, it is what it is. And I've done it before, and I'm down to do it again. The difference is that I'll actually get thank you again. The good thing is that, like, I'll actually get a decent paycheck out of it this time, and I'll get, like, I'll get, like, I'll get decent exposure and, like, maybe some respect. I don't know, but yeah, the weight cut sucks. It sucks, but that is what it is. But it's never a good time.
What's going to be the first cheat meal you have after the fight? Have you kind of mapped that out in your head yet?
Hot wings, man, all the way. Spicy hot wings and waffles, and ice cream.
Any plans to stay in Halifax at all after the fight? It's a beautiful country. I've actually never been there myself, but the Maritimes is quite nice.
I would like to peek my head around there a little bit. I definitely want to get some poutine.
Okay. Yeah.
And ketchup chips and coffee crisp. Oh my God.
Yeah, I guess
so.
Yeah, they don't have ketchup chips in the States. That is.
No.
Oh wow.
No.
Okay. Yeah, you're missing
And our
out.
fat girl's very upset about it.
Fair enough. They should. You should put that in your UFC contracts, like ketchup chips in the locker room after the fight. So should
Right.
negotiated that. All right.
Bags.
February 19th. What's your prediction for this fight? How do you see this fight ending?
I think it's going to be a good fight. I don't know. I have my ideas up here, but,
Yeah,
it's a
fair
secret.
enough.
You guys
Don't
will
want to
see.
reveal the game plan. I hear you. Fair enough. Okay. Well, but before I let you go here, everyone these days is watching Netflix. I'm sure you're the same. What are you watching right now on Netflix?
Ooh, what am I watching? Honestly, this is terrible. I have a guilty pleasure. I watched this show called, I DVR it. I watched this awful show called Catfish.
Okay.
I don't know why.
The MTV show. Yeah, I know that show.
Yeah, I'm not really in a Netflix show right now. I was into Stranger Things. That was really good. Yeah. But I like creepy stuff or just like terrible trash TV like Catfish, but I love it. It's so good.
Do you have like a favorite Catfish episode? One that kind of, I don't know, sort of that you've seen and is sort of the most memorable that you've watched? I'm putting you
No,
on the
not
spot
really.
here.
Like they're all they're all the same. That's why I'm like it's this trash TV because it's all pretty much the same. I don't know. I like it because it's so like dumb and mindless that I kind of like lose myself when I'm watching it and not where I'm not thinking too hard. Because I swear, the thing ever since this fight happened, I'm literally going to sleep thinking about finishes, submissions, knockouts, get-ups, everything with the fight. And I literally wake up in the morning, and that's what I think. I run that, like I'm 100%, like, I feel like I'm like in love with something right now. It's been the weirdest thing since I got the call. I only listen, fun fact, I only listen to country music when I have a fight coming up, like sweet, like cheesy country music, because I'm so happy, and I'm like, it feels like I'm like, because I'm so in love with the sport, and I'm so in love with fighting, that I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just super stoked, and so, I don't know where I was going with that. That was a secret.
No, that's cool. I've never heard that before, but I can understand it, very uplifting music, and whatever gets you through camp, right? So, all the power to you. Good stuff. Awesome. Well, we're certainly looking forward to it. UFC Fight Night Halifax, UFC Fight Night 105, February 19th. Everyone's got to check it out, especially if you live in Halifax. Go support the UFC out there. Gina, can't thank you enough for joining me here on the program. This is a lot of fun. Where can people find you on social media? And if you got any thank you, shout outs, sponsors, anything like that, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much to Xtreme Couture in Las Vegas, Nevada, my coaches, On It supplements. They've been amazing. It's cool that they saw something in me, and they like just, I've never had anybody like give me anything, but they just like here, I'm gonna give you stuff and supplements and steel maces and stuff, but they've been amazing. True Fusion, I do yoga there, need a little bit of chill time. I don't know who else I was supposed to thank. I'm terrible. I think that's all. Yeah. My mom and dad, they're pretty rad. Very supportive creatures. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Gina Danger AK, GinaDangerak.